Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond NSU. I'm your host, Chloe Ryan, and today we have a special guest. I want to welcome NSU graduate and aspiring commentator, Tishon Powell.
Hey, Chloe.
How are you doing, Tishon?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good.
So I want to talk to you. You just graduated from NSU recently, this past December, right?
Well, technically, I'm still taking a course here, but yeah.
You got one course.
Yeah.
You basically a graduate. You went to the real world. You were in Lafayette. So I want to talk about that experience.
Okay.
So what experiences have you had here at NSU before that led you up to that opportunity to be in Lafayette, Louisiana?
Yeah.
Damn, that's
you
a
said
change.
funny, Lafayette.
I sang it weird?
Lafayette.
It's I said Lafayette?
Yeah, I got
Oh,
you.
I did?
But yeah, no, you're good. But yeah, it all started here, honestly. It started with just taking the opportunity. I didn't know about production my whole time that I was going to do NSU. I got to my junior year without knowing about the production or anything like that, and it was almost time for graduation. I'm just like, I had no experience, like nothing. I felt like I was taking these courses, but like going into the real world, I didn't really know what I was doing or whatever.
Yeah.
So so I started reaching out to some people that I knew who graduated from Lafayette. Specifically, his name was Bernie McCrae. I reached out to him on Instagram because I seen that he was like doing games and stuff like that. And I was asking him like, how could I get a part of that and stuff like that. So he just was like, okay, call me on Instagram or whatever. He gave me all of this information about NABJ because I didn't know about that, the production team, and then just so many different programs. And then he told me about Latif. He was just like, go in the studio, ask for Latif, tell him that I sent you here. And then I linked up with Latif, and Latif put me right to work. Really? Like literally, so I started working with the production team or whatever, doing like games and just different events, fashion shows and stuff like that. And I was just always available. I always made myself available, which is what led me to the opportunity in Lafayette. We were finishing up a production meeting, and Latif was like, "Hey, I need some people to stay around because we're doing a documentary. It was about veterans, and Alvida Eruel, she was the commentator for that." Documentary or whatever, and I was behind the camera, so it was just me and her in here or whatever, and I was just talking to her, like we were laughing and stuff like that, and she was just like, listen, I want to help you. And she was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I really want to be a news reporter. And she was like, well, that's my field. I've been doing it for forever, and I was one of the greatest to do it. She was cocky, but I like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And she was just like, so what's your contact information? She was just like, I want to stay in contact with you or whatever. So we did, and so we were talking. She was giving me tips and stuff like that. And then it was MCJR week, and there was a panel, and she was on it. And I remember they were giving us an opportunity to ask questions. And at that time, I lacked confidence. I really wanted to do it, but I didn't think I could do it.
Yeah.
So I stood up and I asked the question. I was like, what do you do if like you know that this is something that you really want to do or whatever, but you don't feel like you can do it? She started crying, and she was just like, I really appreciate you standing up and asking that question or whatever. Like it was so many other people in this audience that probably wanted to ask that, but they were scared to. But your courage, like I appreciate that. And from there, we started working with each other heavy. So she was just like, you need to build a reel. So it was me and it was Janiyah. She was also in production team. Shout out to her, because we checked out the camera right here from the studio or whatever, and literally went all around the campus. And I just was reporting on stuff that was in the news, like as if we were actually there. And Janiyah was holding the camera for me. I wrote down little scripts and stuff like that. And it was just stand-ups at that point.
That's how you do it.
Exactly. And so I put that together. I sent it to her. She critiqued it. She was like, move this here, move that there. And literally 2 weeks after me sending that first reel, I was out of here. I was going to Lafayette. I had got my first job in the industry.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a story. So how did you get over that fear of being unsure about what you wanted to do? Because I know it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
I don't know. I think I still kind of had that fear, but I wasn't going to let that fear hold me back. I knew that I really wanted to be in this industry, and regardless of like however I feel right now, if I continue to like act on it, I'm never going to get to where I wanted to be. So I just was like, with this fear, I'm going to just continue to do what I need to do or whatever, shaking and all, like doing things or whatever, but I got it done.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. And we had talked a little bit before this, and you said that you used to be in this seat.
Yeah, so you know, when I was in production, I was I did a few things. I was doing premiere. I did
Okay.
be on an issue. I sat in the chair that you're sitting in right now, doing those interviews and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So it's like it's crazy that I'm on this side right now, whatever, because
Yeah.
I'm used to being on
It's
that.
full
But like
circle.
full circle, definitely. But
Mhm.
yeah.
And how does it feel to actually be in this seat now?
Amazing. Like, I really appreciate Latif asking me to do this. Like, I'm just like me, like,
Yeah,
whatever.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But it's dope. Like, it's a dope feeling. I honestly feel like I've accomplished a lot or whatever.
Mhm.
Even with my year that's doing there,
Mhm.
how many people can say that they got their first job and didn't even graduate yet? I was still in school taking
Mhm.
5 courses or whatever. 5
5.
courses.
Okay, now how did you find that balance with a
Uh,
new job, a new area to call home? Because you are a Norfolk native,
yeah,
right? And you
yeah.
went to NSU. So, how was the transition going from Norfolk, Virginia to, how do you say it? Lafayette?
Lafayette. Just say Lafayette.
Lafayette. Okay, I don't know why. You said Lafayette, Louisiana. How was
Yeah.
that transition?
16-hour drive. Let's start with there.
Okay.
Yeah. But the transition, it was crazy or whatever because I did try to have to find that balance because I work full time as well.
Yeah.
And then being a news reporter or whatever, it's like you're off, but you're never really off because if something happens and they need you, you gotta go
Exactly.
out there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was crazy, and then it was just like. I didn't come in traditionally like how most people come in because most people they start at like production level, then they move
Yeah.
to PCR, then directing and stuff
Mhm.
like that or whatever, and then they
Mhm.
become talent.
Yeah.
And so for me to just go straight into it, becoming talent or whatever, it was like it was so much stuff that I had to learn.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
difficult at first. In that industry, it's like very fast paced. So
Yeah.
they don't have time for you. Like they'll show you something once, but it's your responsibility to know how to do it the next time. So it's
Mhm.
just like trying to keep up with all of that. I honestly I don't know how I did it, but it got
But you did
done.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that transition. I mean, it got done. That's the most I can say about it.
Okay. And how did you find, like I said, how did you find that balance with doing your full-time job? And basically, you were a full-time student taking 5 courses. So,
Hmm.
how did you have a routine?
Yeah, no free time.
No free
There's no
time?
life. You don't really have a life at all.
Wow.
Yeah, like you
Scary.
don't really to go out. You don't really get to go out like go get drinks and stuff with your friend. I mean your coworkers and stuff like that. You don't really get to do any of that. It's just
Mhm.
like you go to work, you get off, and you're gonna do your homework.
A whole lot of discipline for
Yeah, a
sure.
lot of discipline. But like if you want it, like if you really want it, you gonna do
Mhm.
it. And at that
Yeah.
time, I really wanted it. It was
Okay.
nothing nobody could say against me. I really wanted the opportunity, so I
Yeah.
was
As you
willing to
should.
do whatever I needed to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we got it. I mean, we got it done, and we're here now.
Okay. That's great. So, what was the hardest challenge you had while being a reporter in Louisiana?
Those difficult stories. Like I remember when I was in Lafayette, I had
Mhm.
to report. There was a tornado out there.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I had to go on the scene or whatever. Like freshly after it happened, so many families out there just like devastated because they lost everything, their homes and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And me being a reporter, I still have to like try to get interviews and talk to these families, and
Yeah.
just interviewing them and like just seeing them like breaking down on camera and stuff like that,
Oh.
like literally crying. And it's like when that happened, it was right before Christmas. So that all of
Wow.
their gifts
That's
and
a
for their
hard
kids
time.
and stuff like that, they lost everything. So difficult stories like those that was the
Yeah.
most challenging part like that
Yeah.
because I kind of put my own emotions into it like or whatever. Which in that industry you do kind of separate it because you
Mhm.
can't get too consumed by it or it's gonna
Yeah.
eat you up. But I
Exactly.
was new and I'm just like I can't believe this is happening to these people and especially right
Wow.
now. So I think just those difficult stories that was the most challenging part for me.
So you would say that the news climate is definitely different than the news climate here in Norfolk?
Yeah, very much so. They
Wow.
have a lot of it's more natural disasters there. So
Mhm.
like it was a tornado then, and then like a month later it was another tornado.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, the weather there is crazy. Yeah.
So what's next for you?
Um. Right now, I'm just trying to do as much production as I can.
Mhm.
I mean, get my hands into as much. Continue to learn.
Mhm.
Just build my skills as far as like because I mean I do still want to be like a commentator. So just build my vocab or whatever, my language, the way that I'm speaking or how I'm saying things, and just learning different aspects about the whole industry. I don't want to
Yeah.
be a one stop pony. Like I don't want to just be a reporter. Like I believe to be successful, you need to know how to do every single job that's in that newsroom or
Absolutely.
wherever you are. You need to know how to work the cameras. You need to know how to be a director. You need to know how to produce. You need to know how to put on mics. You need to know how to
Yeah.
do like every aspect of that. I feel like you need to do. So I'm just continue to learn about that stuff like that. And like hopefully I become that great commentator one day
Yeah.
or entertainment reporter, one of the
You
other,
got it.
whatever.
You got
Yeah,
it.
so I'm just working towards that.
Okay. And when you do, I want you to come back and tell us all about it.
I definitely will.
Okay, great. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. I'm your host, Chloe Ryan. Thanks for watching another episode of Beyond NSU.